Nintendo decided to bless us with 10 minutes of gameplay for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which comes out in May. Just a bit of the world, what's new enemies, new abilities, and a bit of a look at what the UI looks like as well. So, for example, one of the first things you'll notice is that the UI has not changed much from the first game, if at all, really. Temperatures, so you can tell whether Link is too hot, too cold. You've got your sound as well for stealth. You've got your standard map, health. The paraglider's still in the game, and your items are in the top left corner as well. Same with the horse UI. You've got the same stamina meter, and you are still in this game in Hyrule. But the main change on this is that there are Sky Islands in this game. So there's a bit more verticality. Not only do you have Hyrule to go through, you also have islands that you can float to. To get to one of these Sky Islands, they showed us one way, which is there are parts of that earth that will fall from the sky to the ground, to the world of Hyrule. There's a new ability called Recall, and this rewinds the movement of the object that you choose, and because it fell from the sky, if you recall it, it goes straight back up and you end up in one of these Sky Islands. And there are numerous around the world to explore, some with buildings, some with trees, and obviously you can pick up weapons on the ground such as tree branches. Now, something that not everyone will be happy about, not me entirely, is weapon durability is still a thing in this game. My main issue were there are many weapons that I just liked using, and because of that, I didn't want to use them because I didn't want them to break. So I would just stick to using good weapons, but not the weapons I'd like, which I thought were really cool. Another new ability they added in this was something called Fuse, which is where you can attach two objects together to make something new, such as a stick and a boulder to create a hammer. So Breath of the Wild sticks in Breath of the Wild were just there if you had no items left, but in this Tears of the Kingdom they've got a bit more use just because of the possibilities you have when creating a new object. They also show how you can attach things to arrows as well to affect gameplay. So they put Keith's eyeballs onto an arrow, and it basically it gives the arrow aimbot, and it instantly flies to an enemy in a general direction and attacks it. And you can also attach objects to your shield. They added a mushroom or a puff room onto a shield. So when the enemy attacks the shield, it blows up and creates a smoke screen where they can hardly see, which again may be useful for engagements, especially some harder ones, or ones where you want to play stealth. So it's quite interesting to see what you can do with that. Another ability is one called Ultra Hand, where you can attach and detach objects together, such as logs. So they're attaching logs together to create a raft so they can cross a lake. There's some mechanical objects in this as well, so they've got fans too, and if you notice at the bottom they also have a battery. This slowly recovers over time, so I don't see that being too much of an issue. But with this Ultra Hand ability, you can create many vehicles to get around. So earlier examples they showed were hot air balloons and cars to traverse the land were shown. And the final ability they showed us was something called Ascend. We'd seen it before, but essentially what it allows you to do is, if there is a roof above you, or a ceiling as they call it in the game, you can pass through that ceiling and reach the floor above. And this is really good as it helps for verticality. One of the biggest issues, well, one thing that affected your verticality in Breath of the Wild was your stamina, because you had to rely on that to climb every single thing, and as it got low you then just had to eat food and keep climbing. With this you can kind of skip the tediousness of climbing objects for extended periods of time and just quickly reach the top. So stamina currently doesn't seem to play much of a role in the game. Enemies can hold fused weapons as well, and with their wacky combinations, it can make an interesting fight. And then it ends where he gets knocked off the Sky Island and gets to free fall down back to Hyrule. And I can't lie, this looks really cool. Seeing the entire world and just hearing the wind whistling by. It's going to be very interesting because it's the same world we had in Breath of the Wild, but there will be quite a few changes. So I'm hoping that the world feels a tad more of a map, but I've got a feeling it will feel the same as Breath of the Wild with just a couple of changes. But the main change is going to be the Sky Islands and the new abilities. And from what they've shown so far, this game seems to focus on a lot of sandbox elements of let your creativity run wild and do whatever you feel like doing. I'm not sure how I particularly feel about that, but I'm going to play the game anyway. So yeah, overall, it was nice to see some gameplay on Tears of the Kingdom, and I look forward to playing it. I hope you do too, and thanks for watching this, and I will see you in the next video.